So today I want to give you a little bit of practical advice. As you may know, I recommend eating a diet where the fat intake averages around 10% of total calories. This is based on my personal experience as well as theoretical information that I've come across, research that I've seen done, and I've basically come to the conclusion that 10% seems to be the number to aim for. There are several reasons why, but I'm not going to get into why today. I'm just going to get into how to actually calculate your fat percentage, because I always tell people keep it below 15% of total calories, maybe average around 10%, that sort of thing. But it occurred to me today that, some of you may know it and what that means, but a lot of you might not know what it means to eat 10% of calories from fat and how to sort of figure that out. So today I want to explain exactly how to do that. First of all, you want to realize that calories is a way to measure the energy in food, okay, the fuel value. So the food is burnt in a laboratory, and the calories is the unit of measurement that determines essentially how much energy, how much fuel is in the food. Okay, so just like when you're going for a walk, and you can measure that walk in kilometers. I walk this many kilometers, this many miles, unit of measurement. Calories, just the same thing. So in food, in every whole food, there is essentially 3 nutrients that give you calories, or that we can measure in caloric value. It's protein, fat, and carbohydrate. Okay, those are called the macronutrients. Now, protein and carbohydrate has 4 calories per gram. Okay, so for each gram of carbohydrate, there's 4 calories that we measure. Fat, on the other hand, has 9 calories per gram. So fat is the most dense of all the different macronutrients in terms of fuel value. So if I get a banana, I know from theory that a banana is about 5% protein, 5% fat, and about 90% carbohydrate, okay? What this means is essentially that whether I'm eating 1 banana or 10 bananas, I'm still just getting 5% of my calories from fat. The percentage doesn't change, but the total amount changes. So on a diet of 2,500 calories, for example, 250 calories can come from fat. That will leave you at about 10%. So if your allowance is 250 calories of fat for the day, then essentially what you do is just look at the fat content on different foods and find out how many calories are coming from fat for each particular food, and then you can just add that up. And remember, of course, that there's fat in your banana as well, there's fat in your mango, about 5% of calories, and you essentially just do the calculation and you see how much fat you're eating. Some people get confused because there's 2 ways of talking about food intake, right? There's calories and then there's volume. So when you see, for example, low-fat milk in the store and it says 1% fat, what it actually means is that of the weight of the milk, 1% of that weight is fat. But of course, most of the weight in the milk is actually water, and water doesn't have any calories. So if we eliminate that, we're left with the solids, or whatever, the macronutrients, the proteins, the carbohydrates, the fats, as well as the minerals and vitamins and all that stuff. And of that remaining weight, the fat is actually making up quite a big part. It's just that compared to the water, it's very little. So 1% low-fat milk is in fact 20% fat if we do it as a measure of total calories. And the reason why doing it as a measure of total calories is a better way of looking at it is because you're going to eat a certain amount of calories in the day, right? So looking at nutrients per weight is actually it all depends on the density of the foods. If something is very high in water, then suddenly the percentage goes down, whereas if something is low in water, the percentage goes up. Whereas in reality, if you're eating the water-rich food, you'll eat more total food, just like you would fruit. Fruit is high in water, so you'll eat more total food to get your calories. But the percentage is therefore a much better way to look at it. It's much more balanced, it's a much more even picture across the board. So basically when I say 10% of calories from fat, I'm not saying 10% per weight, and I'm not saying that, you know, if you have 9 bananas and 1 avocado, then suddenly 10% of your calories is coming from fat. That's not how it works. And it also, remember, each food has some fat, some carbohydrates, and some protein. So it's not just like an avocado is all fat and a banana is all carbohydrate. There's actually all of the different nutrients present in each single food. So it's more complex. We can't just say that, you know, this is a fatty food, this is a carbohydrate food. They're all, you know, we got to look at the individual composition of each food and essentially break down how many grams of fat, how many grams of carbohydrate, and how many grams of protein there is in each food, and then how many calories essentially that food will have total and the percentages thereof. So it sounds complicated. I know it sounds really complicated, and I guess it is quite complicated. It's quite complex, but once you understand it, it's very simple. And I think the easiest way to learn about this is to count calories, basically. And there are some really good softwares online that can help you do that. One of them is chronometer.com, another one is nutridiary.com. So there are others out there too, but my personal preference is the chronometer one. Essentially you just put in whatever you're eating and it will give you a breakdown of all the nutrients, not just the macronutrients and the calories and percentages, but actually all the different micronutrients as well, like calcium, iron, omega-3, all of those things. So very interesting to look at. It'll teach you a lot about what you're eating. And a lot of people get shocked because they think, you know, oh, I'm eating low fat, and then they punch their numbers and they're like, whoa, 40% fat, you know, 70% fat. Well, some raw fooders think they're eating low fat, but they're actually eating the majority of their calories from fat. It's just because they're eating a huge salad and then they're pouring oil on the salad and they think, well, you know, 99% of this salad is greens, and then just a little bit, 1% is oil. But you know, calorie for calorie, the greens have very little calories, the oil have a lot of calories, all from fat. So the, you know, the caloric breakdown of the meal will still be predominated by fat. Basically, you know, just go into chronometer.com, sign up, and it's free obviously, and then just start tracking your calories for few weeks maybe, and then you can take a look at it, and I think you'll learn a lot. It's an interesting thing. I mean, just like we like tracking how far we're walking maybe, and people that do exercise and training, they use their Garmins to see how quick they run and all that sort of thing. Well, tracking what you're eating is also a very interesting thing, and it's a good way of analyzing what we're getting into our body, or theoretically what we're getting anyway, because it's always just an average, and it's not necessarily true that the actual banana you're eating has exactly the same nutrients as the banana they analyzed, etc., etc. So you got to take it with a grain of salt, as they say. Remember, of course, that when you punch in your numbers, it's edible portion. Okay, so if you put in, you know, 1,000 grams of banana, it's actually 1,000 grams of eaten banana, not 1,000 grams, not like a kilo of bananas with the peel. So if you buy a kilo of banana in the store, that's just like 600 grams maybe of actual edible portion. So remember that some people make that mistake and the numbers come out all wrong. So I hope that cleared up a little bit for you how to calculate fat percentages. And when I say 10% of calories is of course not something that you need to hit exactly. You can be as low as 5% a few days. Other days you might be as high as 15. But over the year, over the weeks, over the days, if the average hovers somewhere around 10%, that seems to be what gives me the best results, and a lot of other people are feeling those same results, and the science is generally pointing in that direction. I'll get into that in another video. For now, I just wanted to give you the practical tools to actually figure it out for yourself. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can share it with your friends. You know, that'd be cool. Give it a like. Put a comment down below what you think. If you're starting out with the raw vegan diet, you can go to our website at sweetnaturalliving.com, where we have a free ebooklet on how to get started with the raw vegan diet. Very good tool, I think. We also offer health coaching via Skype if you need some specific advice. So, see you around.